Honestly, try everything. Like, I don't see why you should go in with a clear vision. If you have one, that's great. I did and didn't. But like, the more you use it and figure out what you like, the easier it gets.
I recently had the opportunity to sit down with Brittany from Design House by Brittany, which is a laser-based business focused mainly on wedding and event decor. She makes the most beautiful signs. We had such a fun conversation talking all about how this business came to be. She's had other businesses in the past, her 2 lasers, and what happened when her most recent Thunder Laser arrived, and how long it took her to get started with that. She had some great advice for those of you who are just starting out, and I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Welcome, Brittany. I am so excited to have you today for today's Maker Moment. So why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know what your business is and what you make there?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So, my business is Design House by Brittany, and I started it back in January of 2022 and have been doing it full time since then. And I design and create event decor for a lot of weddings, other big events, and I mostly use acrylic.
So when you started your business, did you have a laser? Did you buy a laser to start your business? What's the story of your laser journey?
I believe. I've had it for 3 years or so. And I had been seeing ads for the Glowforge, of course, like so many others, because I had a Cricut for a while and I had an Etsy just with a different name. And I was selling just like a bunch of different things like baby onesies, tumblers, things like that. And they got me with their ads. And I was like, that's cool. I could do so much with that. And without having like a clear focus in mind of what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted it and I knew I could do something really great with it. So I kept telling my husband, like, I really want this. And he was like, okay, like, just go for it. And when I got it in, I was making a lot of baby things and
Okay.
was like, well, it's fun, but not exactly for me. And I, at the time, was a stationery designer. So I had been doing that for over 5 years. And so I was like, I'm already doing weddings and invitations for like big events. Like, why not just stay in that realm? So it felt totally natural for me to just like kind of transition into wedding decor. And I realized how much I really love doing it.
I was wondering that because you make the most beautiful signs. Everything that you make is so stunning. And so I was
Yeah.
curious how you got into that niche. And so that makes a lot of sense. So you had your own business prior.
Yes, I was just doing it on the side. I had been doing it for, I don't even know, like many years. And it was just a small thing that kept me busy while doing my full time job. And my husband actually got a new job at the start of 2020. And so we were moving. I was like, either I look for a new stationery or graphic design job, or I just give this a shot full time and see what happens. And so luckily he was super supportive and I just figured, let's just try this out.
You have a design background as well.
I do. I went to school for photography actually and graphic design. So that's where I feel most comfortable.
You can see that in your work. What's your tool set? What do you work in?
I work in all Adobe, mostly Illustrator. I'll use InDesign some too.
When you think about when you started making out your wedding signs, what were you most excited about? And then was there anything that you were intimidated about? I feel like that's a place people are excited about the idea, but it's scary.
Yeah. So definitely like the very first wedding thing that I made was a welcome sign. I figured it's popular. People like them for either their reception ceremonies, rehearsal dinners, even. So what I started doing was designing first because that's where I felt most comfortable. So I wanted to just get the designs out on paper. And I started advertising them on Facebook to like my family and friends saying, hey, look, I want to make this. And if anyone's interested, I'll give you a good deal because I needed samples for my shop. And so luckily a lot of people were on board and I just started making my designs with like real people's information. So it wasn't going to waste because if anyone knows, acrylic is super expensive and I didn't want to just make these big signs and then throw them away. And I started doing that and posting them on my Etsy and getting like great feedback. And I think from there, it just snowballed. I started making table numbers and tabletop signs. But I would say the thing that I was most worried or nervous about was kerf and bases, like trying to make the sign stand, because it's one thing to make a welcome sign that's just going to go on an easel. That's
Yep.
no problem, easy. But when you get into 20 table numbers, you realize that every sheet of acrylic is a little bit different in thickness. And you're like, wait a minute, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. So I think I obsessed over kerf for a long time, trying to like get it right so that it wasn't as intimidating. But I do see people online all the time, like, I don't want to do anything with a base because it's really tricky and time consuming. But if you just stick with it and figure it out like slowly over time, like I promise it gets much easier and it's not as scary.
Yeah, you still have to do the math and figure the things out, but you know how to do it more
Exactly.
easily. Yeah, totally.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah. So you have an Etsy shop. Do you have any other places that you sell?
I don't. So I'm 100% just on Etsy. I am working on a Shopify because I would like to have a couple of different platforms. But I guess I just try to reach the majority of my people on Instagram. I just post a lot in hopes that people will just find my shop that way, because Etsy, and it's great because you can find anything in the world there. But if people are looking for wedding decor, hundreds of other shops could come up. So if I specifically have them find me on Instagram, it's much easier to get seen that way.
I think people will be very curious. You have a big following on Instagram. How did you get there?
I don't know. It was luck. I swear it was luck. I feel like I'm annoying because I post all the time. That was my goal, was just to try to post every day. And then when you saw, okay, more people are seeing reels, I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. And so at first I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, trying to make it look like I know. But now it's just like kind of part of my workflow. If I'm making anything, it's just like second nature for me to just set up my tripod and just film a little bit of it for Instagram. But I did have a couple of reels, I guess, blow up a little bit. And they're always like the most boring ones, like the ones of me stamping, or just like the short ones. And I'm like, oh, why is it like this one that people are seeing? But I did get like most of my followers just from a couple of reels like that.
When you started doing things on Etsy for this business, how did you think about shipping and packaging? And what are those things that you do to delight your customers, not just with your work, but also with the experience so they come back to your shop?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, what I try my best to do is be responsive and be kind. Whenever somebody orders something, I always send them a message back right away, thanking them. Most of the signs and things that I do create need proofs. So I am like very time conscious about that. So I try to get them, like I say, it could take up to 48 hours. It never does. It just takes a few hours normally. I like to get the proofs to them right away so that they know that I'm like invested in what they just purchased. Especially being in the event decor industry, people are spending a lot of money. And so I want them to know that I truly care about them getting a product that they're happy about for their big event. And so being responsive, people are super happy first and foremost because this person actually cares about my business and what I receive. So I make it very clear, if you're not happy, I want to redo the proof. I want to edit however you want because I want it to be exactly what you're looking for. And then I think from there, they trust me more. So they're like, okay, I'm actually going to be really happy with my products. When they see that it ships, I always tell them, if you're not happy with anything, reach out. If you need anything at all, I'm here to help. I guess with packaging, nothing too special, honestly, but I do like to add a couple of cute stickers. So I just design some things and I print them on my Rolo, which is super easy. So I like have my favorite one is just like thanking the postal workers. I don't think they get enough credit. You always hear when things don't go right, but you never hear about all the times that they do. So I just like to add little stickers to thank them for helping my little business.
That's great. So you went full time. When did you say?
So we moved at the beginning of January of 2020. So that's when I like redid my whole Etsy and rebranded and then started full time then.
And how long did it take you to be profitable and feel like you were really, it was going to work and you were going to be able to continue to do it?
Luckily, it's been profitable since the start, but the goal is always to have a better profit margin. So every year I'm trying to make it a little bit better. Luckily, my husband, if I didn't have this job, we would be okay. But honestly, it is a struggle sometimes for me to think if I got a different job, like a regular job, let's say, I could be making more, of course. So I struggle sometimes with, do I keep pursuing this and trying to make it better, or do I just go do something else? But I always come back to, this makes me really happy and I'm excited about it every day. And if that changes, then I can do something different. But for the time being, I like really want to give this a chance and see what could happen.
And you're a mom, so balancing that is probably beneficial to your life as well.
It honestly, it really is, because the amount of times my kids get called out of school for sicknesses or who knows what, or school has to, like, for instance, they're repaving soon, so like they're closing for the day. If I had a different job, I would be out of all of my days off because I'm like, okay, this is crazy. But it does make it so much easier because I can be as flexible as I need to be. I can come in to my office on my own terms and times, and with my kids, it's much better. I can take them with me, which I have when they're sick. I bring them in for a little bit. So it definitely helps.
When you think about people just starting out with lasers and wanting to get into a laser business, you had an idea of where you wanted to go. What advice would you give for people to try to figure that out? Because I think that's where people get really stuck is one, you're trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and you want to make everything because you've got this laser to do that. So what advice do you have?
It's funny because my advice goes against what you were just saying. But so I know people sometimes are like, okay, I'm going to make baby signs when I get this. That's all I want to do. And then they realize this is a lot of work and maybe it's not for me. And then they're like, well, what do I do now? Just like, try everything. Like, it's so helpful going on social media or going on like the Facebook groups and seeing what other people are doing and getting ideas from that, being like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize I could do this, and give it a shot. And that's what I did with all of the wedding things. And I realized, wow, actually, like, this is really fun. So I think you just have to literally try it all to see where you want to be.
Where else do you find inspiration?
I think I look for it everywhere. I'm always like looking up trends. I'm looking at colors, like what's popular, like shapes. At first, I was just doing like rectangles because that was the shape, or circles. And then now I'm like, you could literally do any shape sign that you want. And it's really interesting to see what people are drawn to. I've like definitely tried different shapes that I'm like, this is so cool. And nobody wants it. And I'm like, okay, maybe not, but it's fun to try. And so I think I look for inspiration. I look like on social media for sure. Like, it's amazing how when you start out, you feel alone because like I was coming from a job where I had coworkers. Now I rent a little office. I don't see anyone usually all day long. But going on Instagram and like slowly finding people that do similar things as you and building a community was like super valuable to me, because now I look to those people for inspiration and I see what they're doing and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. So it makes me want to keep trying to do better and putting out different things. So yeah, I guess.
When you have new ideas and you don't necessarily have a client for it, do you have room in your time and in your ideas to just make things for fun with fake names? And how do you do that?
Yeah, I do. And it's usually, I honestly, I don't have the best timing because it's always when I'm like the most busy. I'm like, I have a new idea that I like need to do now. And I can't wait, like, for whatever reason. And so I'll design something. And usually I'll just post it like on my Instagram stories and be like, hey, does anyone like this? Because I'll add your information. As long as you let me post it on my Etsy to sell, then it's yours for a good price. So I try to always, if I have an idea or something, just like to make time. When the laser is running, you have a little bit of time to do other things. So I squeeze it in when I can.
And you have one laser, you have two lasers.
So I have two. So I've had the Glowforge for a while and I wanted a Thunder for a really long time. And I got it this past November actually. And it like sat in my garage until a month ago. I
Oh my
didn't touch.
goodness.
Yeah. I was like so intimidated. I was like, what did I do? I can't believe I got this huge thing that's in my garage. Even though I wanted it for so long and knew that it would make everything so much easier, it scared me so much. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. But honestly, once I finally just turned it on and try it, I was like, I don't know why I didn't do this so much sooner.
Which one do you have?
So I got the 51
Oh, you have the beast.
So I got a big one. I was like, I do not want to outgrow it again. Like, I feel
Right.
like you hear that all the time with the Glowforge. People are like, I used it for a month and realized like it's not as big as I wish it was or it's fast. And so I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm getting one, and that's the one it's going to be for a long time.
What were you nervous about that you were then like, oh, this was not a big deal?
I don't everything. I was like, I don't know where to start. Like, Lightburn was scary to me because that was a new software, even though like I knew I could learn it. Thousands of people do this every day. I can do this. But it was honestly just the initial jump. It was just so intimidating for me for whatever reason because I've grown so used to the Glowforge that I was like learning something totally new seems so daunting to me because I'm already busy. My office is not in my house. I was like, I had to come into work and do my orders with my Glowforge. So that didn't leave too much time to actually learn the Thunder. So I kept using that as an excuse. I don't have the time right now. But yeah, it was just like trying to figure out how to make the first engrave and the first cut. I don't know. It was scary to me.
Yeah, it's totally different. It's the same mechanics, but you get to them in such different ways in the
Yes, it's
Thunder
true.
than you do in your Glowforge.
Yeah. But honestly, it was like way easier than I thought. So that's good.
And you have a lot more control. So especially with the things that you do, and especially with acrylic, being able to dial that in with all your different types of acrylic and the things that you do, you have so much more control.
That's true. And honestly, I'm still learning it completely. And I've been mostly cutting, but I finally this weekend changed the nozzle to the wider one. Everyone's like, use the wide one to engrave. I was like, what does that mean? And then I was like, oh, yeah, there's another laser head here. And
Yep.
I was like, wow, this is so much better. So, yeah, that's the next step. I'm really excited to start taking more of my engrave orders back to my house and trying it there because I know it's going to make my life so much easier.
It'll be so much faster.
Yeah. Yes. I know. I come back to my office and I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to take me a long time.
What has been your most exciting day in this business?
I think the day that I got my first big signage suite order, the whole suite, the welcome sign, the table numbers, the seating chart, that was super exciting. I still remember her name is Agatha. She actually came back and got a topper recently for her son, which I was so happy that she thought of me still. But I was just so honored, really, because I was like, wow, someone trusts me enough to make a lot of decor for one of the most important days. And so I will never forget that. And I mean, that set the bar for me. Like, I wanted to make it perfect. I'm definitely a perfectionist. I just want all my clients to be really happy with what they receive because I understand that it's usually for super important events.
What do you like doing most in your business? What do you look forward to in your days?
All the hands-on creating. I love putting things together. It can be a lot of back and forth before I actually get to start to work because of the proofs and all the questions that they may have. So when everything is finalized, that's when the fun begins for me. I love just like taking blank sheets of acrylic and then transforming them into something really cool. And so when I get to actually cut and engrave and paint it and put it all together, that's what I look forward to the most for sure.
What do you like least?
Emails. Yeah, definitely. And it's not that I don't care, like, I don't want it to sound like I don't wanna talk to people because I do, but when I have to pull myself away from what I'd rather be doing, like putting everything together and sit down and email because it's so time consuming, definitely that's what I put off, and then I'm like, "Oh, no, I have 10 people I have to answer soon, so I gotta get going." Or Instagram message. I always try to answer all of them. I don't want anyone to think I'm ignoring them. But it's super time consuming. So I find that's the thing that I definitely look forward to least.
Have you had any failures in this business?
Oh yeah, every day, all the time. Yes. Like, I'm not afraid to try anything. And that is a great thing in a way and also not such a great thing because I waste a lot of material. Like, if I'm being honest, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can do this." And then I'll try it and then I'm like, "Nope, that definitely didn't work at all." whether it's like being careless, like that is a great way to waste material. Like sometimes I just have the settings on wrong and don't notice it until it's done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, total user error. Like I've messed things up gluing plenty of times. Like I use the 3M tape now, but even with that, sometimes things can go wrong. So yeah, I have a huge scrap pile. A lot of it's like mess ups behind me. I'm like, yeah, I'll make this into something else. But honestly, even if you're going to fail, which you will at some point, like you just have to go for it. And so I'm willing to try anything.
I think that's good advice for people. We see your successes, right? We see your beautiful signs, and we don't always see everyone's mistakes, and knowing that they get
And
made. And
I try to post like the bad things on Instagram too, because I know that people want to show the great successes that they have. And I don't blame them. I want to show mine too. But as you said, like, I think it's so important for people to see I'm human and like I make mistakes and things don't go to plan. And like some days I just have to walk away. Sometimes I feel like I'm frustrated or I feel like a burnout coming on. And I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. Like I just need to walk away for a little while and then come back to it, which I think is like totally normal and okay for people to understand. So yeah, I have my fair share of mess ups.
is there any traditional advice that you followed when you were starting your business that you wish that you hadn't?
I don't think anything was like specifically told to me, but you do see like a lot of advice when you're starting out, like to find your niche right away, which like I guess can be like pretty intimidating, like what you want to do. So what I was saying earlier, just to try everything. And I don't see like the need to like pigeonhole yourself into one specific thing. So in the same vein, some great advice that I've learned along the way, especially to like, protect my mental health and like how I'm feeling, is if you're making something and it could be one of your best sellers, for instance, and you get an order in and you dread making it, just stop making it. I had to learn that the hard way. I was getting orders for this one particular product and I was like, you know what? It's not like my focus. It's not what I want to be making. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Just because I'm selling a lot of it? Yeah, that's part of it. But just taking it out of my shop made me feel like infinitely better, like instantly. And so I think like people need to just realize that it's okay to do things like that if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And you pivot, you like find other things that you can do instead that when you get an order in, you're actually excited to make.
I totally agree that the finding your niche advice can really get people stuck to where they don't even try anything because they're like, I have to find the perfect thing before I try anything. And
Exactly.
yes, it can make your shop better over time to have a clear, whether it's an aesthetic or a person or those things, but you don't know if you don't ever try anything.
That's true. Exactly. And I think like you can like mold your niche into whatever feels right to you. So and then it's okay if it evolves over time too. Like I'm sure like my style and the things that I sell will change. But yeah, that just goes hand in hand with trying new things.
What is your best advice for people just starting out? One, just starting out with their laser, and then two, with a business.
So when you get your laser, I would say just go for it, honestly. Just look at what other people are doing, look at tutorials. And for me, like a big part of what I like to do is just to not hold any information too close to my chest. Like I am like always okay telling people what I do, knowing that it's not going to work for everyone. When I just started out, like I was looking to like that mom with a laser and all of the Facebook groups, and if it wasn't for the kindness that they showed, like giving out like tips and tricks and tutorials, then like I wouldn't have known what to do when I was starting. Like it would have taken me a lot longer to get to where I am now if it wasn't
Yeah.
for people being willing to give advice. And so I try to do that as much as I can. If people ask me how I do something, I'm more than willing to tell you. And I totally understand when some makers aren't, because the amount of hours and like the mess ups and everything that goes into getting to where they are, like it can seem I'm not going to just give that away for free because it took me a long time to get here. But I always am never going to feel bad about helping someone or being kind. So if I can give them at least like a starting off point, then I would like to do that
Yeah.
for sure. And then for starting a business, that's tricky because I think if I were to go back in time and give myself like one piece of advice that I should have done first starting out, it would be to pay more attention to the taxes that I owe. So you have to be very cognizant about your quarterly taxes and figure that out and send them in so that at the end of the year, you're not surprised. And to be fair, I really wasn't, but like I do a much better job of it now. And so, like, you don't want any financial surprises at the end of the year from starting a business.
Treat your business like a business. It's the do those things that, and I think that makes you commit to it too. It's understand whether you want an LLC, understand your finances. That'll help you decide if it's something you even want to do. Because if you don't have interest in doing those things, maybe you don't want to run a business. So, where do we find you on the internet, Brittany?
So you can find me on Instagram at Design House by Brittany. And then from there, I have a link to my Etsy shop.